Oh, we have one person in the waiting room, it looks like. Okay, Laura's in. Awesome.
Yeah, that would be me. It's Laura.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, we gotcha.
Yeah, my headset wasn't working for some reason. Let me put myself on video. Hello.
Uh-oh,
And the video's not working.
We're only seeing a background, yeah. Laura.
Yeah, not sure what that's about. I'm having a tough technical time here. Kind of crazy. Yeah, let me stop it and start it again.
You've reached the maximum length for...
Josh, do you have the presentation that you're able to show on your screen, and then Laura will be able to speak to it?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, not sure if Laura needed sharing privileges.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
All right. Well, sounds good. So it seems that we're all set up now, so we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Hello and welcome to the Spring 2021 Virtual Educator Externship, hosted by ElevateEdAZ, the Center for the Future of Arizona, Arizona Business and Education Coalition, and the Pima County Superintendent's Office. As a reminder, we ask that you please keep your cameras on for the duration of the session and ensure your microphone is on mute if you're not speaking. Today's session is hosted by Joshua Schwartz and Laura Cooney from SRP, who will discuss career pathways in the electric water utility industry. And Joshua, if you want to introduce yourself first.
Hi, everybody. My name is Josh Schwartz, and I work for SRP in talent acquisition. And my particular role within talent acquisition isn't exactly as a recruiter, but I am overseeing pipelines and partnerships. And so I work with various schools, universities, colleges, and different organizations around the Valley to build educational pipelines for students to get the right knowledge and skills and training that they need to move into positions within our organization. So thank you very much for having me, and I will kick it over to Laura to introduce herself. Laura is our subject matter expert today. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, now we got you.
Okay. Oh, great, we get the little icon. Yeah, I'm Laura Cooney. I'm a senior business analyst, team lead at Salt River Project. And our group is in the Business Analysis Center of Excellence. And my job over the past year was supervising our BA apprentices from the IT BA Apprenti program. And they've spent the last 2,000 hours learning what it is to become a business analyst. And they have since graduated. So now I supervise our associate business analyst. And I've been at SRP for, 21 years now. And I'm just thankful to be here. So thanks for having us.
All right.
So back to you, Josh.
Yeah, no problem. Let me just kind of intro the presentation today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. See how this works.
There it is.
All right. Everybody's able to view that. All right, perfect. So as Laura was saying, we wanted to give you a brief kind of overview of a career pathway that's an interesting one. In the past, we've given a couple of occupations in the technical arena on our IT side, and then we talked about 2 different apprenticeship pathways. And this one's interesting because it is in our IT career pathways, and it's also an apprenticeship pathway through a group called Apprenti that Laura mentioned. And so this is our IT Business Analyst program and career pathway. But first, we wanted to give you kind of some insight into SRP itself. So As a community-based nonprofit water and energy company, SRP provides reliable, affordable water and power to more than 2 million people living in central Arizona. SRP has provided these essential resources for more than a century to meet the needs of customers and help the region grow. And you can actually learn more about what we're talking about today, careers, career paths, more about SRP at srpnet.com. As Laura and I were putting this presentation together, Laura came up with this great idea to just let you know how much we appreciate teachers at SRP. I'm not sure if you all know the resources that are available to you at srpnet.com, but we do a lot for teachers by providing classroom resources, providing grants, teacher workshops. We have multicultural partners, lots of different learning materials for you. And then we do give nonprofit contributions as well. So if you are interested in what SRP has to provide to you as far as career pathways or specific learning materials, if you're giving classroom lessons on water or power or anything in that nature, then we probably have it. And then there are contacts available there as well that you can reach out to gain more insight. And again, we definitely love teachers. So make sure you do check our website for touchdowns for teachers and applying for grants and joining our email list there to kind of check out what Touchdown for Teachers is all about. And there might be some possible partnerships available to you and dollars available as well. So I would like to kick it back over to Laura to start our journey through the business analyst role.
Great. Thank you, Josh. So why business analysis? Why is business analysis necessary or important to companies, or why should it be important to students or teachers? What's it all about anyway? Today we'll be sharing with you those answers. We'll talk about what a business analyst is and does, what traits a good business analyst has, the role of a business analyst, some of the tools that we use, at least the ones at SRP that I'm familiar with, some career path examples, and those will be real career path examples from my coworkers, some of my folks who are senior business analysts. And then we'll get into the level of education required. We'll even get into things like internships, and then other things related to business analysis. Okay, next slide. So what is a business analyst? So we're often seen as an interpreter and a liaison, or even a facilitator. And that's basically the essence of what we are at the beginning. We interact with the business, but we also interact with our technology partners or team members on projects to ensure that the needs are well understood. And we'll go to the next slide to talk more in detail about that. So business analysts work as a liaison between the business, as I said, and the technology team to identify needs and solutions to business problems. And we ensure that we deliver value to our stakeholders. So throughout a project, we use various methods and techniques to do this. We focus on adding value and making sure that the business gets what they need, and we work with technology to ensure quality throughout the work effort. So there are some BAs all over SRP. It's not just in my group. There could be some embedded BAs in all categories at SRP. But the ones that I'm working with provide support on teams within our Information Technology Services group, our corporate IT group. So IT helps provide technology solutions across the company. So at times we do have some knowledge of technology, and of course, as we go through a lot of these projects, we end up learning a lot about technology. So we participate in these IT-related projects. Could be billing. Maybe they want to replace a billing system. Maybe there's an HR system that needs replacing. Josh would be a SME on that one, right, Josh?
That's right.
And then from there, we typically facilitate sessions with the business. Those customers that need something come to us, and we ask them to describe, their pain points and understand their needs. And from there, we just work with technology to make that happen. So really, we're making sure that both parties come together and understand what's needed, and then we kind of lay out the foundation of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And it can be more complicated than this. And so as we go through this, if you have any questions and I need to drill down, please do let me know. Okay, next slide. Now, I don't know if you have a polling feature. I know Zoom does have a polling feature. We don't have to use it, but if we like, we can use the chat feature here. I want to take a quick poll right now to see how familiar you all are with business analysis. So feel free to type a response in the chat box. But the question is, how many of you think that being a BA is somewhat like being a waiter or a waitress? So you can respond yes, or no, or heck no, or let me look at the chat here.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay? The question is, how many of you think being a business analyst is somewhat like being a waiter or a waitress at a restaurant? Yes or no? There's a lot of yeses. I want there to be one no so we can surprise people. Like the heck no, what are you thinking? What do you mean? There's your no. There's your no. Okay, we've got a no there. I mean, no. Yeah. Okay, well, actually, in its purest form, a good business analyst is very much like a waiter or a waitress. And I should say a good waiter or a good waitress, right? So picture this just for a moment. Remember pre-COVID-19 where we could actually go to a good restaurant and you were seated at your table. Who was that person who waited on you? What did they look like? What was their personality like? Were they friendly? Did they offer you something to drink? Did they listen to your order and take it down? Did they remember it? And then at one point they left the table, right? And they went somewhere mysteriously away from everybody. And magically a little bit later, they came back supplying you with the very things that you requested. And we're talking about a good customer experience here. So the waiter or the waitress fulfilled your almost every desire. They made the whole thing look easy, didn't they? Did they cook the food, or did they bake your dessert, or brew your coffee? Probably not. Most of those things were provided by others in the kitchen, right? Which is what's somewhat of a mystery to everybody. We didn't see them do it, but we know they did that because the waitress or waiter came out with those items for you. So really, that's the analogy of a business analyst. A good business analyst works as a liaison between the clients and his or her technology team, much like the waiter or waitress interacts with the customer, the cooks and the kitchen staff. BAs help make the magic happen. And like the waiter or waitress, BAs are on the front line working directly with the business to meet their needs. Now, obviously, this is much more complicated. When we talk about technology, there's a lot more details there, but I just wanted to give you that quick analogy so that you have a good reference point of what a business analyst does. Next slide. Yeah, like Tracy's comment, they meet the needs of the client, either the wait person or the VA. Yeah, I like that. So the traits that a good business analyst has, they're personable. They have to be an active and a good listener. They enjoy learning because there's a lot that they don't know on every project. We could be farmed out to any project, anywhere, anytime within the company. And so we're not going to be an expert at everything. But we have to dig in and start learning, much like teachers. I'm imagining you guys have that same experience at times. We enjoy putting the pieces together. That's what the analysis is about. And we enjoy sharing the results. In addition, you have to be a thinker, because to be an analyst, you're going to have to spend some time and work things out, ask yourself questions, and then come up with the answers to those questions, maybe with team members. So I'm going to throw this back over to Josh for the next slide, because we have some questions for you.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We want to get some dialogue going with you all, and just kind of get some insight from you on how you could take this information back to your students to make it applicable, but also what tools and things are available to them. So first question is, how familiar are students today with things like computer science, technical writing, or data analysis? And how can these skills be translated to the classroom? One of the things that we were really trying to do with that waiter and waitress example is it just is a really tangible way for students pretty much at all ages to understand, because they've had that experience. And that's something that we wanted to provide to you to bring back to your classrooms. But how familiar are your students with these concepts? And you can just speak up if you want to. I don't have a chat view, so I would like to be able to hear it.
I think that if we phrased it in a way of like English and math, like they would understand it better and then kind of fill the gap from English and math to like technical writing and data analysis. And I liked the bridge of how it's a waitress and kind of the same skills. So yeah.
Okay.
I think you could also, the way you could translate it to the class, I teach business operations, and I've also taught careers and looking in and delving into careers. And I've used a program once before that allows students to research different job clusters and the many different jobs within the job cluster. And they could go in depth watching videos, answering questions for computer science, technical writing, or data analysis, and what it is from a day-to-day standpoint. So that's one way that I would approach it.
Okay. Very nice. Any other thoughts on that particular question? How those concepts may be translated in the classroom today?
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Fernando Ramirez. I teach city engineering, and my class is something like you are questioning. So we provide basic skills, but the critical thinking is what we, encourage them to do, and because that's what they need to apply outside of the classroom in every single situation of their lives. But yeah, that's a good one. So okay. And basically in my class we teach a lot of things like you are mentioning down there.
Fantastic. That's good to know. So as Laura stated, critical thinking and being a thinker is a big part of being a business analyst, at least at SRP. What kind of critical skills and or what form does it take within your classrooms? And I'd also like to hear what age groups would you be potentially taking this back to?
Well, I teach from 10 to 12, and what forms that? What they do is because everyone think differently, and what they do is make work in teams and get the best solution of the in every situation. So using the other tools like what is this one? So, but they work as a team, and that's what I'm teaching to do that. So
okay. Any work that they're doing where they have to come up with solutions to big problems?
Actually, when they do the designs, so for example, now they're doing a press, hydraulic press, small one. So working in 2 and 3 students. So, and they apply the principles and the design. So they come with the one solution and say, hey guys, we need to lift like 10 pounds, 20 pounds. So make the designs. What is your best approach? So, for every single, for example, real life examples is cafeteria. We have a bottlenecks on the when the students are making lines, say, hey, go ahead and make solutions. So, give us solutions. So it's a different situations, and and we try to give them real life and hands-on situations.
That's fantastic. That's good to know.
So, Josh, in the chat, it looks like there's anywhere from 8th grade or middle school and up to community college level. There's even some grade 11 and 12 honors. And there was a comment made about using depth and complexity critical thinking models. So I thought I'd share that with you.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Much appreciated. So how can we get this across to the students that the BA role is not just IT specific? But this is kind of one of those hybrid roles where the soft skills and the customer service focus and the relationship building is just as important as understanding what the IT needs are to be able to do that solutioning. Let's think through that one a little bit.
Yeah, and I know that I might have thrown them off when I told you folks that, our group works with IT, but I also mentioned there were some embedded business analysts that work throughout the company, and they may not be working with IT. They may be working directly with the business, and so they might wear multiple hats, but the same skills and same role really apply to them as much as it applies to us. But I just don't want students thinking, oh, that role is a geek role. I'm not interested in computers, therefore I'm not interested in business analysis. Well, when we look at career paths, I think you'll see that we come from all different backgrounds. There's a lot of diversity in our business analysis group.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say this. So we do have business analysts within our finance group. There's business analysts that do process improvement, business analysts in operations, and those looking at the ways that we do business and creating efficiencies. All those are BA type tasks that could be done. And so this role could be done outside of IT as well. And you see it in multiple different organizations. All right.
And just one comment, I think, the biggest question is how do we get students exposed to these pathways,
yep.
In the first way, right? And get them exposed to these pathways in your in your core classes as well. So not just like your engineering, but how can we give more exposure to our students in our English classes, our math, or our investigative science classes, because they're doing a lot of these, they're doing a lot of research and, conducting their science fair projects or something like that has those investigative skills and those critical thinking skills. So, how do we tie back all this exposure into our core classes?
Yeah, thank you. We needed that translation, Casey. Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to get at is, what is existing today that could be leveraged for these kind of non-traditional career pathways as Laura and I were talking about this, there are many different educational pathways at the university level that could map to something like this. And we're going to talk about a few upcoming. So thanks for that segue, much appreciated. So I'm going to jump to the next slide, and Laura, that's all you.
Okay, sounds good. That looks familiar. So, this is really just re-emphasizing what we talked about before. It's a pretty good visual. So when you press the down arrow, the first thing you'll notice is, I'm talking to Josh, go ahead and press the down arrow. this is one of those animated slides. Really, we start out with meeting with the customer to, when the project starts, to find out, well, why are we here? What are your pain points today? How can we help you? We might get into the roles that people have who interact maybe with the system, or maybe we're talking about processes that may need to be improved. So we're there to listen. We're there to take notes. We're there to ask questions. And then that whole analyst stuff takes over after we've met with the business. We will sit there and go through our notes and come up with some reasonable requirements. It's a way to interpret what we've heard in ways that a technology team can understand. And so from there, we might create a list of, business-related requirements. And we'll have a conversation with the technical team to talk about what we've discovered. Now, though, sometimes the technical team is with the business analyst in the meeting with the customer. But as a facilitator, it's really our job to make sure we're listening and giving back to the business that we heard what they were saying. And then we let the technical team, much like the kitchen staff, the cooks and those in the back room, we let them do their thing because they do speak a different language than most of us. And then if we do the down arrow again a couple of times, let's see, we've got technical team. So they provide a solution, but we also have to make sure that that solution is met through what we heard from the clients. And then we'll give the clients or customers a chance to review what we've come up with. We might demo what the product solution is, and we'll let the business maybe even have their hands on that solution and kind of try it out. And from there, we make sure that those needs have been met. We might do some, testing prior to handing it over to the customers. But really, it's our job to be there and representing, the business in front of the technology team. And if it's process related, we're making sure we understand what their current state is and maybe what, how to improve their process for future. So that's just another illustration of, what our role is. Let's go to the next slide. Some of the tools that we use, it can change frequently based on technology and, what the trends are or whatnot. But the columns really represent what a business analyst might be working on. If they're working on facilitation, their tools are going to be a little different than if they're working in testing or doing design. So as you can see, each of the rows kind of represents different tools that we might use. We might even use sticky notes in a design session. Something that's interesting, I think that's a trend now because of COVID-19 is we're all using Zoom or we're using a virtual platform. And so we've seen these whiteboarding tools. I'm trying to learn Mural a little bit so that we can visually interact with teams. In the old days, you put a flip chart up on the wall and then you got a marker out. And I still like that approach, but we have to think out of the box sometimes. So this is just a representation of some of the tools that we might use during different, different elements or different aspects of the work that we do. Should we go to the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
This one, is this one yours, Josh?
Yep. Looks like we're on to career paths. And so, as Laura was saying, that there are multiple career paths examples that business analysts in Laura's part of the organization have taken. And so they could be from a computer science focus. So that would take an undergraduate degree in computer science with entry-level programmer. They start developing business analysis skills and then applied for the business analyst position. And these are more the traditional career education paths and career paths. We are going to talk about some new and innovative career paths upcoming. But then a humanities focus as well. So again, undergraduate degree in humanities, social sciences, or business. They become an entry-level corporate trainer and then start developing business analyst skills and then apply for that position. And then there's technical writing focus. And I'm going to let you take that one since that's your actual career path, Laura. So let's walk them through your journey to becoming an IT business analyst.
Yeah, right. My goal growing up was to be either a journalist or a writer. You know, I wanted to be a novelist, you know, but I was living in Silicon Valley at the time. How ironic, right? And people kept saying, you know, are you going to be a teacher? And I thought, yeah, that would be good. And then someone else said, well, why are you in Silicon Valley? You know, why aren't you in technical writing? And I said, well, technical writing, what is that? And so, you know, I found out that there was actually a technical writing program in college. So I actually started out as a technical writer. And I think what you discover along the way is you kind of hop into happenstance business analysis skills. You're filling gaps for a team, and you know, maybe somebody was out for the day. So at some point you're actually doing business analysis, and you know, eventually that led to the business analysis career. So yeah, that was my column.
Perfect. So the typical level of education, so applying for a student internship at SRP, you must be enrolled in college and having the following. So at least a minimum of 1 year of college, technology familiarity and understanding, and that's a key point there. And you know, students nowadays are learning a lot more and using technology a lot more than we did when we were going through school. So that's a big plus for them. But those applying for a regular business analyst position would be required to have a bachelor's degree, or let me say, used to be required to have a bachelor's degree for the traditional pathway. We are going to talk about an apprenticeship pathway here soon. So bachelor's degree in computer information systems or computer science, plus 5 years of experience, or a bachelor's degree in a related field appropriate for the assignment. So something like technical writing, plus 6 years of experience. And as Laura and I were talking through some of these educational and career pathways, I let her know that I have a degree in psychology, but having been a trainer within the organization, working with apprenticeship programs, getting that kind of experience and being that subject matter expert and trainer, and being able to go back and forth between the subject matter experts within the business and then translate that into an apprenticeship program would be a great opportunity to hone in on those business analysis skills.
You'd make a good business analyst, Josh.
Yeah, so some of the internal training that would be available to, or internal programs available to students coming out of high school would be, we have mentoring programs, and we're introducing those into our student internships as well, where we're actually assigning mentors to our student interns. So they can be in a group or peer mentoring, a technical track where they're not focused on moving into leadership, or they can go into a leadership track. But then they're, you know, if they're very focused on becoming a business analyst within the organization or any other role, they can be assigned a mentor that has been in that role for a while and really understands it well, to provide them with networking opportunities, training, developmental opportunities, and really providing them insight into what it really means to take on that role. We do offer student internships. Those are full-time internships, so year-round, and summer paid internships. Our interns start at $14 an hour, and depending on the number of credits they have already attained at the college level, and that is at the community college level or at the university level as well, they can go up to a range of $17 an hour. What I did want to highlight for you as well is our high school internship opportunities. And we have high school internship opportunities starting at that $14 an hour range through what we call our COE programs or ICE programs. One is on the professional side, and then one's on the industrial side of the business. So a student, if they are interested in, say, a business analyst role or becoming an analyst or a coordinator or interested in training or whatever that looks like within SRP, they could have an opportunity to participate as a high school, as early as high school, with SRP as an intern, and receive mentoring, receive training, get paid, and then map that to whatever career path they're deciding on. Our interns need to be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours, unless they are a high school intern. And then they can work, they have to be able to work at least 20 hours per week, but they do get $1,000 a year towards for tuition assistance as well. So they're getting work experience. They're getting to understand what the corporate world looks like, what on the industrial side, what the industrial utility side looks like as well, getting paid. And then they also get that $1,000 towards their tuition as well to help out. So it's a great opportunity there.
And then, those are high school and college. I think there was a question about middle school that I'm not aware of any middle school internships.
Not quite yet,
SRP?
no.
Okay.
There is potential for some job shadowing at the middle school level. However, the majority of those would be classroom presentations from subject matter experts in line with whatever classroom materials and curriculum looks like. So we have not done middle school internships yet. Apprenticeship programs.
Yet, I love it.
Yet, no, I'm all for it.
Wonderful.
All for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apprenticeships. I don't know if you all are totally familiar with apprenticeships. Some of you might be, but we have 12 state and federally registered apprenticeship programs. 10 of those apprenticeship programs are programs that are on the joint side, which is they are overseen by our union, our IBEW 266, in conjunction with management. And so they are union represented positions. And then we have 2 salaried programs as well, where they meet the same requirements. They have to go through the same programming, and they receive the same credentials. However, they're not overseen by the union. So all of these programs are 4 years in length. That's 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, and they do require 142 hours of related instruction, which is after-hours instruction on the apprentice's time. And that can be at the community college level held. We do hold some of those classes at the community colleges, but we also hold the majority of those at our skills training center, excuse me, with our own subject matter experts. And then our apprentices actually start at around $20 to $21 an hour, and they get 6-month increases depending on if they meet the requirements. So they need to make sure that they have attended class and they're getting those after hours, and then they're meeting their OJT requirements based on the evaluation of their committee. So to be able to qualify for one of our apprenticeship programs, students would need to at least hold a high school diploma or a GED. They need to be at least 18 years old. And we require that they come into SRP at an entry level, and that could be within our call center, that could be as a trades helper, a laborer within one of the warehouses, anything like that that's at an entry level for a period of 6 months before they can apply on the apprenticeship program. So that is a great entry level opportunity for them to get education, a way for them to get their foot in the door at SRP through either an internship at the high school level, at the college level, or through an apprenticeship program. We do realize that there are a number of students out there that maybe they're not looking to go to a traditional college route. Maybe they're really the hands-on kind of student that would really benefit from an apprenticeship program. Are there any questions about apprenticeships? All right, anything popping up in the chat, Laura?
No, just a question about middle school students for internship opportunities.
Okay. We just wanted to let you know about these different opportunities, and then we'll dive into the Apprenti program. We were introduced to Apprenti, which is, they basically act as the third-party administrator, much like the state of Arizona does for our other apprenticeship programs, but they're at the national level. And we actually use this as a reskilling opportunity for our Navajo Generating Station workforce when Navajo Generating Station was shutting down, to redeploy 10 NGS workers to the Valley to participate in an IT Business Analyst apprenticeship program through Apprenti. So the typical model, like you saw before in our apprenticeship programs, was 8,000 hours, 4 years. Apprenti's taken a streamlined approach to the more technical IT related crafts, and they've reduced that down to 2,000 hours. That's a 1-year apprenticeship program with 12 weeks of upfront learning. So we talked about that related instruction. Typically they would get 142 hours per year of that related instruction. What Apprenti students get is 12 weeks of that upfront formal education, and then they can go into their 1 year of on-the-job training. And that's exactly what we did. We took this on as a pilot program with our NGS workforce, brought on 10, put them through that education up at Coconino Community College in Page, and then moved them all down for the 2,000 hours of on-the-job instruction. And we were extremely surprised at how well and how focused this group of 10 individuals was, and how we were able to overcome the 4,000 hour apprenticeship program, then turn it into that 1 year intense program. A lot of rigor, a lot of evaluation, but it really streamlined that process. And so if you are interested in apprenticeship for your students, there is the 4-year route, and then there are organizations popping up like Apprenti that can do this in 1 year rather than 4. And we are looking to partner with Apprenti again in the future, really looking into what career pathways would be available. But the IT Business Analyst is out there now, and you don't necessarily have to go through SRP to get that training. Students can actually get on to the Apprenti website and apply for these programs that they have available. And they have different business partners that are doing this right now. So really wanted to highlight that for you as an opportunity, career opportunity for your students.
Yeah, I've never seen anything quite like this. And I think it was amazing to watch the apprentices interacting with their mentors. And these are senior business analysts that they shadowed with for that year. And we threw everything at them that we could. And so I kind of like to tease my team about how they have more training as business analysts than I think I ever did based on all the rigor that we put them through. But I think it was well worth it and a lot of fun too. Yeah.
So one thing I want to add to that as well is we highlighted the more typical career path of the 4-year degree, and then getting some work experience, and then moving into their career of choice, which is the IT Business Analyst. Through an apprenticeship program, they are getting their education, they're getting paid, they're getting college credits, and it can be mapped directly to a career path like IT Business Analyst. However, they don't have to pay for schooling, right? So we're paying for that. And there are some other organizations around the Valley that do this as well as paid internships or paid apprenticeship programs. But what we also offer is tuition reimbursement. So students who potentially may not be able to afford college right away or really don't know what they want to do could join an apprenticeship program like this and get that experience within the organization, and then go back to school to get a bachelor's degree, to get certifications, or to even move on to a graduate level through our tuition reimbursement program. So it's a great opportunity for them to be able to save that money and get that hands-on experience, get credentials that they can translate to multiple different organizations, both nationally and internationally. All right, so now we're going to kind of turn our focus to preparing the students. So what should the students focus on? You know, we talked a little bit about the education, but what we wanted to highlight for you is what are other extracurricular things that they could be doing that would help them hone in on these skills that would map directly to a career path like IT Business Analyst. So volunteering outside of school, I know that you know, there's a number of different programs within the high schools, potentially in middle schools now, where they're given the opportunity to do some volunteering. Through SRP, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. And so, you know, they may be able to even volunteer with their parents at times. I know that parents bring their kids to volunteering opportunities that we have available, and they can get those hours and that experience that way. Doing some research on business analysis to learn more. You know, my kids are on YouTube all the time. And I recently started talking to my 14-year-old who's moving into high school next year about, you know, kind of what do you want to do? What are you interested in? And he immediately jumped onto YouTube to start to look up some of the, you know, what is this? What is this career path? And it's amazing what is out there. So doing that research, potentially doing it for them, and providing them some of those videos and resources, and then connecting with a business analyst through this particular program. Like I said, we do have those internship opportunities available. There's potential for job shadowing. If you all are interested in us coming and highlighting some of these more non-traditional career paths within your classroom, we're more than happy to do that as well. But, you know, connecting with someone, sometimes the best thing for a student to do is to be able to kind of put a face to that career. Otherwise, it's pretty nebulous, right? There's a lot of careers out there, but if I know somebody, I'm connected now. And then participating in teams, leadership groups, different clubs. Again, I was talking to both of my kids actually about not just the academics as they're moving through middle school and high school, but what other opportunities, what other experiences can they have within their schooling as they're moving forward and thinking about what they want to do. Get as much experience as you can, meet people, network, take shadowing opportunities, and really hone in on what you are interested in. But participating in things like yearbook, drama, photography, getting your hands on all these different experiences is key, because a business analyst is really, really good at becoming that kind of chameleon when it comes to moving from project to project, where they can, you know, maybe they're working with cybersecurity one day, but then they're, you know, I've seen Laura do this where she's working with an IT group and then comes over to HR and we're talking all these soft skills and HR-y speak, right? And she's so good at translating, you know, the systems that we use into language that someone like me understands, right? And that's what they have to do. So having those kinds of experiences out there will really help them to explain things if they decide to become a business analyst. So we want to do another poll again. You want to take this one, Laura?
Yeah, sure. So another quick poll here in the chat. What soft skills do you think a good business analyst has? I think back on our restaurant analogy again. Go ahead and type in the chat room, anything that comes to mind. What soft skills do you think a business analyst has? Yeah, communication, definitely. Team players, that's huge, absolutely huge. Communication's huge. Preemptive intuition, that's interesting. Flexible, yeah. Problem solver, listener, collaboration, interpersonal communication, detail-oriented, relatable, okay, good. Active listening, yes. Dependable, diverse, yes. Hungry, humble, smart. I made those up because those are some of what we look for. Yeah, any other ones? A leader. I love that. Yeah, definitely. So yes, all of those are the soft skills and then some that we look for in good business analysis. Again, it's all about the people. My dog is in the background here, if you can hear. Sorry about that. But not only do we have to think and help solve problems, but a lot of times it's about the people. And I'm thinking of you teachers too. You're dealing with all sorts of different students every day in the classroom. So I'm sure you have those soft skills as well. And so think of yourself and the soft skills you have, and you can translate that to business analysis. You're really dealing with different people, different personalities. And how do you get everybody together to focus on, the mission at hand, so to speak? And that is, where the problem solving comes in. I think that's where the previous slide talked a lot about, in order to start getting ready to be a business analyst, you need those soft skills. So the more students can get involved outside the classroom, if you look at, for example, volunteering, I like that picture because it's showing that interaction of kids together. They're on a mission to clean the environment. There might be some problems that need to be solved during that volunteer effort. So those soft skills, those leadership skills, those communication skills, all of those things come into play. And I think they're really valuable, not just for business analysis, but for almost any career. But we tend to focus on those soft skills quite a bit. And even to the point of including those in our interview questions, we try to see, what kind of soft skills. We might throw in some behavioral questions like, what would you do in a situation if, again, because soft skills are so very important. So let's see, sense of humor. I love that one. Ability to laugh together and at yourself. That is very key. Absolutely. I know there's been some times where a good sense of humor really redirected, what was a mistake and a problem. People were like upset about it to, okay, let's release that tension. Absolutely. Good sense of humor. Thank you for sharing and participating in that chat. Any other questions before we summarize or comments anybody might have? Just go ahead and take yourself off mute if you want to have something to say or question to ask. We have 6 minutes. So in summary, business analysis actually is a pretty exciting career. I don't think I would have done it 21 years if it wasn't. Skills, backgrounds, and career paths will definitely vary. And I think that's a good thing because we need different types of people in the role of business analysis. We need diversion. We need diverse thinking. We need creative thinkers. We have plenty of IT folks. We don't need them as business analysts as much as we need the soft skills and the people who can work with others and be a leader, working with the business to understand their needs, and also someone with an eye for detail, someone who can ensure quality. And so finally, Josh, do you want to take the next slide? Kind of our closing slide?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did mention some of the teacher materials available to you, but we also have some, this presentation will be available to you as well as any reference materials that, we may be able to provide to you to kind of help translate this within your classrooms. So if you have any questions, go ahead and please reach out to myself at that.
There is a question in chat.
Sure.
Just starting salary for BAs. Do you know what that is, Josh, right off the top?
So starting salary for a BA, that is going to vary based on education and experience. But I will tell you that the recently graduated apprentices that just moved into their BA roles were anywhere between $50,000 and $60,000 a year.
This is after 2,000 hours of training. Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm sure that can vary over time as well. So, that's just starting salary. And then they can move up in salary as they move up in the pay grade with experience and time.
Yeah, every year there's performance reviews, right? And so there's a certain percentage that we like to give our team members, and you know, we try to look at all of the work that they did for the year, and so there's a lot of benefits to that. And I think that's one of the things, Josh, that makes SRP a little unique in that, you know, we tend to pay pretty well. I also think that we offer a lot of security. I think we're one of the few companies that provide a pension as well. And what are the rules regarding that? I know, I think I'm grandfathered in somewhere, but is it 55 years and 20 years of service or something? Or?
Yep, that's exactly right.
And you get a pension, so that's not bad. There's a question about, can you offer a virtual information meeting for high school students? I don't see why not. How about you, Josh?
Yep, totally. That would be great. We'd love to do that. We do that with all kinds of different occupations as well. So if there's something that, if this interests you, or if you know of a career path within SRP, I'm happy to coordinate that career presentation for you. Awesome.
And maybe we can show them in the next two slides that there is some reference material as a starting point if you want to use that after that one. Yeah, I really recommend, and there should be a link to this webinar Wednesday. There was a really awesome guy by the name of Bob, the BA, and he was really well known on the circuit in terms of business analysis. He was larger than life and just a really beautiful person. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, but he was at all the conventions and was a speaker. And so I wanted to share with you that video in particular because it talks about business analysts as being, you know, storytellers, and as a way of eliciting or gathering requirements from the business. So that's a good, and that's on YouTube, by the way. And then careers, this is a little more formal, the YouTube video, the second one. If you start at 20.41, you can hear about business analysis as a career path. And then the next slide just has some references for you in addition to follow up on. For example, the International Institute of Business Analysis is a professional organization. A lot of us are members of that. And there's some other identifiables here. So if you're interested and need to learn more, those are some, you know, quick ways to get, you know, some information that might be needed. So just wanted to share that with you. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. And that is our presentation today. So we have enjoyed meeting with you today and presenting the IT Business Analyst role. Again, please feel free to reach out to myself or Laura for any other reference materials or, you know, career presentations that we could come and even virtually give to your students.
Well, Laura and Josh, thank you so much. This information has just been so valuable, and I love how we're able to talk about, you know, what educators can do now with their students, really expose them to these types of pathways that they might not, you know, necessarily see. So anyways, we really appreciate it. And I know, have you been in contact with Nicole?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay, cool. So I'll reach out then, and then we can get some of these materials you said that you have, or, you know, documents or anything else that you'd like to pass along, and make sure that our educators get a hold of that.
Of course, we'll do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, teachers. Thanks for all that you do.
Thank you, Josh and Laura. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Educators, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, Cindy.
Hey, thanks. Bye-bye.